Greetings, tabletop addicts and adventurers in recovery. This is Adventurers Anonymous, your tavern for all things actual play and D&D. Pull up a chair and grab your favorite drink and settle in, because tonight we're stepping into the next chapter of Critical Role's history. My name is Stubbii, and I'm joined by my co-host Gygis, and this is Talking Crit, our Critical Role companion podcast for Campaign 4, where we break down every episode scene by scene, diving into the lore, explore the world, and analyze the characters. And then we talk about each moment that makes the table magical.
And that's right. And today we're tackling Episode 1, The Fall of Thjazi Fang, the long-awaited kickoff to the Brennan Lee Mulligan era of Critical Role. We'll walk through every major scene, talk about the new setting of Dol-Makjar, the introduction of 13 new characters, and of course, the mysterious artifact at the center of it all, the Stone of Night Song.
So grab your dice, keep your notes handy, and let's jump right into the execution that started it all. So, our campaign is started out with a cold open, and it's the execution of one of our characters' brother, Thjazi Fang. It shows the opening of Dol-Makjar, the wagon bearing Thjazi Fang in shackles, brought in by guards. That is when we are actually introduced to our second member of our 13 is Azune Nayar. He's an arcane marshal. In this world of Dol-Makjar, it seems that magic is regulated, or it has been as of recent, and these arcane marshals are put in place to scan for magic in any essence. And in this case, Azune is here to scan Thjazi for any type of anything that could be helping him get away. Thankfully for Thjazi, Azune is a part of a group that is trying to get him free. He is scanning him, and he is going to botch the scan to be able to find an item that was supposed to be placed on him in his back pocket. And Azune does find this that has a little bit of, I believe it was a little bit of illusion and a little bit of abjuration magic that was supposed to teleport him out and get him away. He sends a message spell to Thjazi to make a connection to let him know that where this is, where this rune is, to break it, and he would be gone. He would be able to escape. That's when we are led to Thjazi looking across the crowd as the leaders of the sundered houses are speaking about what Thjazi has been accused of, why he is being executed thus far, etc. And this is when Hal and Fang, Thjazi's brother, played by Liam O'Brien. Thank you. He's played by Liam O'Brien, and he ends up making a nat 20 perception check, creating a
very first roll.
Very first roll of the campaign, nat 20, and he makes a connection through the message spell that Azune casted prior, and was able to momentarily have a conversation with Thjazi. And in that conversation, Thjazi ends up looking up to the sky and coming back down in panic. Within this panic, telling Hal that that Belair has paint waiting for him, and that he needs to help Murray at the Pentevral. The Pentevral being the Dol-Makjar's school of magic. Basically, it's where the nobodies of the realm can go to make something of themselves through arcane means. And Murray works them. Belair...
So I have a question.
Yeah.
When Thjazi looked up to the sky and had that panic, did it give any description on why he panicked? Like, I don't quite remember that part.
No, he just kind of looked up, and it seemed like he had a realization. I have in my notes, did he see something? Did he know something was wrong? Because obviously with Azune telling him that there's a rune in your back pocket, break it and you'll be gone, obviously he knows there's an escape plan.
And then he chose not to escape?
Well, no. Something must have gone wrong. Because whenever he looked up, he had to have known he wasn't going to be leaving that stand. He had to have known he was going to die there that day. Something had to have occurred to him. Something that we're not aware of yet. Something we're not aware of yet. Yeah, we don't know. But we're definitely, it's, as Brennan Lee Mulligan said, we will find out in the first episode of
Have your back
Campaign 4. Yeah. Which, we'll talk about that here in a minute as well. Which leads us, after Thjazi has been hung, he has, in that conversation, spoken of a person, Thimble, one of his companions that he traveled everywhere with. He told Hal to let her know not to be scared, and that to let her know, or to tell her and then he dies. And that is where we are brought. We are brought to the next scene, where we are at the Farramh, the wake or the viewing of
Rookery.
Of Thjazi Fang in the Rookery at Hal Fang's home. That's where we're brought, where Hal is preparing his home with his daughter, Shadia? Is that what it is?
Shadi?
Yeah, Shadia. Shadia.
I keep hearing Shadi when I'm listening to it, and it makes me think of just the typical that's my Shadi.
Well, that's a big flavor. But that does bring us to their home, where they're trying to prepare the home for guests to come see his brother, her uncle. Where we are met with our first visitors of the Farramh, Taisha Aloy and Octus Taconis. Taisha being his ex-wife and baby mama, and then Octus is of the House Traconis, who is of the two leading houses of the Sundering houses, or the two leading families of the Sundering houses. The Traconis and the Halavars being the two leading families at the moment. and they, like, as they come in, they're very confused on what happened. They were supposed to be a part of the escape plan. They were waiting for another person to bring Thjazi to them so that they could then escape the city. But Thjazi and this person never arrived. You know what happens after. Well, Hal confronts them fairly early, gets them like at the front door, and gives Taisha a very deep hug, as their bond was never broken as a family. They've stayed family even though they are no longer together. And that's where Taisha actually casts enrichment on the next mile from that point, so everything grows greener and more rich for the next year.
Jasmine.
And jasmine. A lot of jasmine grows in. And it's just a very beautiful, beautiful kind of moment between... and then, like, yeah, other guests trickle in, different people of the Torn Banner, people of his very questionable past, because Thjazi was a very traveled man. He wasn't just a hero, but he was also a kind of a criminal. He was a thief, and he kind of did things in a way that most shouldn't. He broke a lot of laws and hurt people, and like, not like he may have physically hurt people, we don't know for sure, but he also like stole from people, so hurt them in that way. Which then our next people that we would be presented with as characters is played by Travis Willingham as Theor. We're presented with Theor and Loza Blade. Theor Pridesire being he is a lion man. Forget the race that they use for that, but yeah, he's a lion man. He has great white mane and all that, and Loza Blade, an orcish barbarian type. She's very, very old, on her way to their kind of homeland to kind of live in retirement, and she's kind of stopping here to pay her respects to a fallen warrior, past comrade of Thjazi. And Theor also served with Thjazi in the Torn Banner back in the Falconers' Rebellion, and he actually looked up to Thjazi as well, which then brings us to the arrival of probably one of the more controversial attendees to this Farramh, being Wikander, Halavar, and Tyranny, which is probably one of my favorite reveals, to be honest. We have Wikander being played by Sam Riegel, and it is just the perfect pretentious silver
almost
spoon.
Antithesis to what Scanlan was.
Yeah, basically Scanlan, just the other side of the coin. Scanlan came from nothing and just acted like he was everything, whereas Wick came from everything, was so sheltered and thought he was everything, but he's truly a peon. And then we have Tyranny, a great reveal as well, being that we have demons as player characters in this campaign, which is,
and they're kind of like the you know, like as you have in the notes, almost like the rooks. They're just pets at this point, and they're being trained.
It seems like they're more like they're seen as like as if they just inherently don't know any better, so they're treated as children almost, even though they fully know kind of what they're doing. They're just unaware
arrogant
of the
this
culture.
realm.
Yeah, ignorant of the realm more.
Ignorant. My bad.
No, you're good. But Wick is bringing the scimitar of Thjazi Fang. He is bringing it as a kind of token of peace between him and Hal, and trying to show that he and his family meant no harm to their family. That it is just how life presented itself. Though he is presenting it in a very arrogant and ignorant way. It does like come from a good place as far as he could come from a good place is what it seems.
Because his parents and his grandmother were supposed to follow through with a plan, but then at the very last.
Yes, sorry. Thank you. You made. I did forget that. Hal had spoken, which that's where we do find that out right as Wick and Tierney come in. That Hal had spoken to Wick for a long time, and that that Wick was going to grant them amnesty, and it did not happen.
Because wasn't his grandmother, right? I think his grandmother. As they're talking, she was just like, he must die.
Yep.
And then just left without explanation.
No explanation.
And then his father was just like, I'm sorry, this is what needs to be done.
Yep. And it was, he was given no other explanation, so then he kind of did not really have a good explanation for Hal whenever he was talking at the Farramh.
So I feel sorry for him. Like he's like this almost bastardized child right at this point. It's just
he wants to be a part of. He wants to do things. He wants to try and make his own, but he's always been so silver spooned that his family doesn't even respect him as a leader. So then they kind of outcast him as a child almost. Yeah, like
ostracized him almost.
Yeah. And so then he is left to pick up the pieces for what he was trying to do for his own house, because he was really trying to build connections for his house that, hey, even through this war, this disagreement, this death and tragedy, we can find a middle ground with the enemy. And
which really highlights his trepidation for even wanting to visit the wake in the first place, even though he does have the sword of what's his name?
Thjazi.
Thjazi. He comes in there, and I remember them saying, like, do you want to have a guard with you? And he's like, no, I feel right about this. I don't need a guard.
Yeah, whether that could come from a place of arrogance of believing that he's so holy that he doesn't need it, or it could come from a place, and that's what I'm saying, is it could also come from a place of like, no, I think I'm doing the right thing, so I believe this would be taken properly. I did forget to add that Azune did arrive right around the same time as Loza Blade. I think he arrived just before Loza and right after Octus. And
remind me, Loza Blade?
Yeah, Loza Blade. That is just an NPC character that was one of their, I believe, generals during the Falconers Rebellion, which was the fight between... which was like basically the civil war between the houses. So Thjazi marries, which we'll get more into this later on into the episode. But basically, Thjazi gets married to a noble woman And 2 years later, decides to enact a rebellion against the noble houses that he married into. Not specifically the house that his wife was a part of. Yes, they were in against him, but it was mainly against, I think, the Draconis family and the Halavar family, I believe.
Which was kind of like the whole noble structure of it. Like he's going against the structure.
Yeah, I think that's what it was he was going against, because they were, there was the Shapers' War before that was in Dol-Makjar, they killed all of the gods, because the gods became tyrannical and evil, basically, and they killed all the gods, and then by afterwards they kind of took up the ruling themselves under this, like the Sundered Houses did, and that's kind of, and then after that they started the Falconeers Rebellion to try and rebel against the Sundered Houses, because they themselves became tyrants. But as all of these people start to trickle in, the name Trinket starts coming up. Teor and Azune and Octus all leave to go find where Thimble went, because she was a key part of the plan of Thjazi getting away. And if something happened, something had to have happened with Trinket, especially if she's not, or Trinket, Thimble, especially if she's not here now.
I thought you said Trinket earlier, and I wasn't going to say anything, but you said Thimble. Trinket. I know you
Thimble,
said Trinket.
Sorry, Thimble.
Yeah, I know you mean Thimble.
But yeah, they know she should be here. She's his best friend. So where is she? So they go to the hideout.
Weeks out and no hearing from her.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It was more of like she was working on this escape plan, and she was supposed to go and plant the rune on Thjazi, and that rune was going to get him away. But that rune didn't work, so something had to have gone wrong. Where's Thimble?
Oh.
So they went to... So they go to the hideout, which is in like the leather working area of the city, which is an even grimier area than the Rookery. Which they go into this hidden hideout where Teor immediately notices there's a lot of blood, and it seems like it was hastily cleaned up, like bodies are dragged through here. So they rush up the stairs, they get into the room, and Teor notices that I notice a scent in here. He recognizes the scent, so he bolts across the room, finding that Thimble is down in this grate, like almost like a ventilation grate in the floor, and that she's dying. She's currently rolling death saving throws above the table. And then Teor rips open the grate, heals Thimble, and just in time, because the death saving throws, she was 2 and 2. If she failed one more time, that was the end of Thimble, and literally it was going to be new character sheet for Laura Bailey. And oh man, was I was chills, almost in tears in that moment of like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? But as soon as
I was
Thimble,
in tears,
right? Whenever Thimble comes to and it has come back and realizes that I need to get to Thjazi. I need to get this rune to Thjazi. And Azune has to break it to Thimble that it's over. He's already dead. That it's too late. That she got hurt, and it kept the plan from happening. But this was not an attack. Like, she was attacked before she could leave. which kept her from doing this. And it had to be targeted, it had to be planned, and whoever did this to make sure Thjazi didn't get away from that Hangsman. So,
which I would say means that word got out one way or another.
Yes, one way or another, word got out. So, back at the Farramh, we are now presented with our next few characters.
Elodie and Hero?
Well, no, Hero's already came with, which is an NPC. Hero is already at Hal's home with, she came with Octus and all of them. Our next ones are Belair. Belair comes in with Murray. Belair being a man with a mask that is like formed to his face and attached to his face, and it moves with his expressions. It's all white with black tear lines, deep black pulled eyes with light coming deep within. Then we have Murray, who is a underground arcanist, works at the what is it? Kind of a weird name. Oh, I have it here. At the Pentevral. She works at a Pentevral, yeah. She's I believe, I want to say probably a swords. They're here to, again, give their respects and everything, and this is Marisha Ray playing Murray, and Taliesin playing Octus, or not Octus, sorry, Belair. This is where night also starts to fall, and we are presented with Bayless. Well, actually, before that, we are actually presented with Matt Mercer's character, Sir Julian. And he comes in.
An outstanding man.
He's brought in with Lady Aranessa, the widow of our man of the hour, Thjazi. He comes in. He's a very uppity man, and he, as soon as he can, he's the man that also brought Thjazi to justice. To justice, we'll say. He is
justice
spiteful.
being loosely.
Yeah, loosely. That's why I put, yeah, loosely justice. He and as soon as he gets a moment with Thjazi's body, spits on his body, saying, my only regret is I only did not get to watch you die twice. Matt Mercer definitely goes from being the nicest human being as a DM to being a true piece of shit as a player. So I'm excited to see what we have from there.
We'll see how that develops.
Right.
I'm excited.
Then we have Nightfall. That's where we'll get to that now. Is where Bayless arrives. She's at the Sisters of Delandry. That's how it's pronounced. Delandry. Thank you. Yeah, she's here because supposedly Thjazi has stolen the Stone of Night Song. Or, well, from her and her elven sisters. And she's here to collect it. but no one knows where it's at. Actually, back at the hideout where Thimble is at, we found out that there was a broken container that was holding the Stone of Night Song, and it is now gone from there as well. So we, in story, have no clue where it's at. It is currently stolen. Back at the hideout, we do find out that there were crow's feathers back there that is pointing towards a thieves guild within the city as the culprits. Now, we end the session with Taisha realizing that she is still carrying the box that Thjazi asked her to bring. It is a big silver box. I mean, fairly big is what it is. She and Hal take it upstairs to Hal's office, and whenever Bayless is asking around about the stone, the name Thimble comes up, and as soon as the name Thimble is said, the box swings open upstairs, and they see the mask that resembles Belair's mask, supposedly, but it's shattered, and it starts to shake, getting closer and closer together. And that is kind of where our session is ended.
And that's something I'm very curious of, is why does Thimble play into a mask that is akin to Belair's?
I don't know. The thing is, the theory I've come up with is that she is of the Fae, so then with that, it may be something connected to Fae. It may have a elven connection. It could have a fairy connection for all we know. I don't know, because it doesn't. It says it's a bigger box, but it doesn't describe it like how. He doesn't describe how big it is just yet. So that could change theory.
And she's all of like 4 inches, so the mask has to be probably bigger than she is. I would assume, yes. I really don't know. I don't have a whole lot of theories on that, other than that it's probably of Fae origin, because if it's at the mention of a Fae creature, I would only assume. Furthermore, I believe the person that mentions Thimble is elven, being Fae. So, who knows? Now, coming from someone who had only just got into D&D, and I just have thoughts from other fantasies, is it possible that a Fae has gone into a contract with some other being that is tied to I don't want to say a community, but a community, and that this is part of that? Because if Belair has a mask and this forms itself into a mask that is similar to his, then this could be a kind of a cult thing.
It definitely could be, and that's definitely something that could happen, because if a Fae being becomes powerful enough, it could share its power with another being, and if it's powerful enough, it could share its power with many beings, and doing exactly that, making it cult. So that is a very good possibility, and it is, anything's possible at this point, to be honest with you. This is episode 1, so it could be anything, to be honest, because we don't know anything about how the inner workings of the world work just yet, because we're coming off the assumption of normal D&D world, not off the assumption of what Brennan has constructed, because Brennan's constructed a world where the gods have died. And now we're living with the ramifications. So
Yeah, he's a maniac.
and we find out that the Shapers' War was only 80 years ago, so it's still fairly recent, still fresh. So
Yeah, it's not the typical, like, 800 years ago the gods died and we've had to live with it. It's just like, hey, actually recently the gods died. We're still trying to figure that out.
yeah, we're still trying to pick up the pieces now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I figured we kind of end the podcast on our, like, talking about our favorite character, kind of doing a quick breakdown of each of them, of those two characters, and then we could finish it out.
Well, I will say, I do love... man, I love all of them. Liam as Hal, he's kind of bringing himself back into kind of I wouldn't say a Vex, with that emotional aspect that he has. He's so good at bringing the emotion into it, and not like overt emotion. It's like he's really subtle with it. You can tell that he is a man at a breaking point, but he's strong enough to hold it back. And then there's Travis as what's his name?
Theor.
Yeah, Theor. I don't know. I don't know enough of any other campaign other than campaign 1, but listening to him pour in this very serious, poignant, seemingly probably methodical creature, into this character, it's very nice because he's such a smart person. Like, I know him as Grog, this, seemingly stupid barbarian, but he really, in real life, he's a fucking genius. Like, he's the CEO, of course, but I mean, he's also just a very smart person. Like, he's really good at what he does. So to see him kind of take another strong role and put it into something that is, well, what we don't really know of, but I'm going to assume a very strategical general. I love seeing that. Then there's also, I don't know this person, but she's new to me, but Tyranny.
Oh, yes.
I love seeing a character that is, like, I don't even know how to put it to words. There's no regret to anything that she does. There's no wrong to anything that she does. It's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go start taking from the kitchen and make my things. It's like, hey, no, you can't do that. It's like, oh, okay, well, why not? Also, I love you. You're a cool person. Hey, drink with me. That sort of deal. It's like, cool. I love seeing that.
Yeah, that's so Whitney Moore that plays that character.
Whitney Moore. All right, kudos to
He's
you,
acting
Whitney
as like
Moore. You were doing wonderful,
essentially. Yeah. And she's doing great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I can't wait to see what this evolves into with her and this dynamic with having, like, these new beings that literally, again, after the Shapers' War, they found out that there were these other, like, immortal, long-living beings, like demons and the Fae and all these other ones. So they started introducing them into, or not introducing, but, like, started migrating them into society and molding them in. And this was a part of it, is that the Halavar family kind of, like, started a religion of the light and kind of, like, accepted them into it to be, like, kind of a, this looks good, like, it makes us look good, we're converting demons, like, even people of evil,
Like, even whenever Tyranny goes into the kitchen for the first time, I think, there's that one dude in there, and he's just over there just drinking, I think. And she's just like, hey, can I drink with you? Can I start making my own thing? He's like, yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know. You're amazing. And it's just like, okay, that was just like immediate acceptance. It wasn't just like, oh, there's a demon here, kill it. It was just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, very accepting society, interestingly enough. Sorry. Yeah, I would say my favorites, I mean, Thimble, always a favorite. You can't get past Laura Bailey. She's amazing.
At improv, yes, goodness.
And then on top of that, we're having a furthermore, a fairy being as a character player, or a player character. Then past her, you know, I'm a little bit biased. I love me my Belair. Belair's pretty awesome. He seems like he's going to be this very eccentric character that he's going to bring the wackiness to the table of, like, I've seen some horrible things, so I don't care what I say or what happened. Like, you know, like, he's just a very wacky thing. Then probably if I wasn't picking Belair, I'd probably pick Murray. Murray's just an interesting character because they're playing 2024 D&D, which means they're playing with the races typically that the female dwarves don't grow beards, and that's not the route they're going with this campaign. Is they're keeping female dwarves with beards, and I love that. It's great. And it's very befitting of Marisha Ray. Very befitting. And I'm interested because I do believe my theory, so this is where we'll end off the session here, or the episode, is my theories on our small tables. Because we have the swords, the seekers, and the schemers. I believe the swords will be Azune, Aor, Cadigan, Julian, and Thimble. I think this will be a very strange dynamic, being we have 4 members of the Torn Banner. One of them being very, very close to Thjazi. And one of them being the one that led to Thjazi's death. And
it's going to be pretty complex.
Yeah. Because also all of these are going to be affecting each other effectively. Like, it's not going to be that, like, 3 separate campaigns that stinted from one backstory. No, it's going to be 3 separate campaigns stinted from one backstory that intermingle and intertwine and cross paths, and one group may kill off the other group, for all we know. That could happen.
Because usually you've got like 6 people to deal with as a DM.
Yeah, not 13.
But now we're more than doubling that.
Yeah. So then the Seekers... Yeah, this is where I'm not sure. We could completely swap these 2 groups completely, but I'm about 60% certain of the pairings that I have. I just think these could be... So, like, here, I'll go over it. I think one group is Hallandil Fang, Taisha, Tyranny, and Wick. And then I think another group is Belair, Murray, Octus, and Valus. Now, I believe one group could be the Seekers, one group could be the Schemers, or vice versa. Right now I have it that the group that Hal is in is the Seekers, and the group that Belair is in is the Schemers. Because I believe the Seekers are going to embody the people that are actively seeking in the limelight. They are out in the open looking for the answers. And that will be Hal doing it politically, and with the help of Taisha. And I think it'll be Tyranny and Wick doing it through their family, like the houses. And then I think the Schemers are going to embody the underground side of everything. The people that have dealt with the illegal side and the questionable gray areas of the world. And I believe that's Belair, Murray, Octus, and Valus for kind of obvious reasons. Murray is an arcanist, so she's doing things in the shadows at all times. And then Belair, he is the museum director, and he's dealing with magical items and dangerous tools and items at all times that he's having to constantly adapt to. And then Octus, he's a part of one of the great houses. He's a part of the Sundered family, or one of the Sundered houses, the Tacronus. Which means he was a part of. He was committing treason. He went against his house by trying to help with Thjazi's escape. So he is.
And Belair and Valus. And Belair also kind of helped Valus get into all of this.
Well, yes, he helped Valus get into the city. But Valus, I mean, she's just, I mean, that's obvious reasons why she's the schemer. She's literally dealing with a stolen item. Like, she's scheming to try and get that item back. And whatever her deal is. So, like, that's kind of my theories on those, on the small tables. But I think that's kind of all I've got. Next time on Talking Crit, we'll dive into episode 2 and unpack the aftermath of the Farramh and the first threads of the Stone's Hunt. Until then, roll high, stay curious, and never forget, every tavern has a story if you listen close enough.